Donkeys! Donkeys in the keep!
Who's that guy?
He's a medieval archer, and he's gone to take his daily post about checking on the barricades, and on his way he's seen some donkeys in the keep, and he's alerted everyone. Donkeys! Donkeys in the keep!
Does he always speak like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just the shock of donkeys in the keep.
No, maybe he doesn't always speak like that. It's a bit tough, yeah. No, he doesn't always speak like that. He's very surprised that there's donkeys in the keep.
Yeah. Hello, welcome back to another episode of Boys Gone Wild. If you're new, hello. If you're old, thank you.
Right.
I'm joined here by my co-host Andrew Cohen and producer Charlie. Is it Charlie Milner?
It is Charlie Milner, yeah.
I thought it was, he'd been lying the whole time.
I didn't want to make a fuss.
You're such an attention seeker.
Are you related to James Milner?
No.
Because you're both boring cunts.
Yeah, I did it. Go on.
I'm told I'm related to Lewis Hamilton, but like really, really, really distant.
I can think of a couple of issues with that.
Firstly, you have different surnames.
Yeah, nice.
Sorry, Charlie. We are cruel to you, Charlie. We are.
Yeah.
I'm just honoured to be here.
It's necessary, really.
It is. You have to keep it. We can't afford a better one. So.
No. Can't do that.
Just stuck with me.
It's a cheap, but shoddy.
Shoddy boy.
Poorly made.
Porky shoddy boy.
How are you, Andrew? How are you doing?
I'm good. On my way back for the podcast last week, I did something terrible.
Go on.
Well,
Please share.
in an attempt to do something good, I accidentally did a deed of evil.
Okay, this is a tale as old as time?
As old as time, perhaps time itself.
Yeah.
I went to pop into the new Sainsbury's. And
what a thrill.
What a thrill.
Still.
The layout is good.
Pretty good.
A good selection of world foods as well as your classic English expectations.
There's not lots of stuff there.
Not lots.
No.
It's a
glorified offer almost.
No.
Okay.
I like it. They've used the space well.
Yeah.
But that's not what this is about.
Go on.
There's a guy outside, and he's quite often outside. He's a homeless man, I think. And he hands out those magazines. And on the way in, I had my headphones in, and I've seen him a few times. And he said to me, "Oh, can you get us a beer, mate?" And I went, "What?" And then went in, and I was like, "You know what? I'll get him a beer. It's a cold day outside. I'll get the nice man a beer." Went round, got the beer, paid for it, came out, handed him the beer, and he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, did you not say beer?" He went, "I said avocado." So I think I've made a homeless man relapse. There's a lot of diverging
They take
thought.
it anyway.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a lot of diverging thought on what you should do with homeless people. Should you give them money? Should you buy them stuff?
Yeah.
Like nothing. And then sometimes I'm like, yeah, if they ask for a beer, I'll get them a beer. You know, make life a bit easier. No one's saying get them a beer when they haven't asked for one.
But do you think it was partly your snobbery that you thought you couldn't possibly ask for an avocado?
Can't be asking for an avocado.
Must be beer.
What, that junkie wants a beer.
Does seem mad though, because he's not eating the avocado raw probably. So is he assembling a brunch?
He could be assembling a brunch.
I feel in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, avocado comes in
pretty
when
low
you've got a lot of stuff
high.
sorted out, right?
Yeah. Well, he's clearly got other ingredients. No one, and it's not a snacking fruit either. You need a knife to cut that fucker open.
Well, because I guess asking for an avocado would take me off guard if it was a homeless person. One, you'd say, well, you're clearly not in that much need if you're asking for avocado.
Yeah.
But then also, it might be like, well, I don't think he's going to use this for drugs.
For drugs, yeah. It's a weird trade.
So he wasn't Asian, was he?
No.
Okay, because I had an encounter with a homeless guy in the Sainsbury's, which was a pretty good tactic, to be honest. When I was at the self-service checkout, he just put Nutella and loaf of bread in my thing.
No.
He said, can you get it for me?
No, you can't do that.
I was like, fair enough, because I never have cash on me, so I never give the homeless people cash.
Yeah, but you got it.
And he caught me with my pants down, and I didn't hate it. I didn't hate that my pants are down. I was like, this is all right. You know?
I don't know. I'd want to pull them back up. I'm not sure about that.
What,
you can't just whack it on.
And then he got chucked out.
What next? Chicken nuggets?
What? Throwing on the...
Yeah. What next?
It was quite sweet, the Nutella and
of
a massive loaf of bread.
Cream?
Yeah, so maybe it's that Sainsbury's. Maybe it's the new Sainsbury's.
Maybe it's the new Sainsbury's. I just think I felt immediately bad after. Having attempted to do a good deed, I was like, I could have just ruined his life again. He might have just been getting off like drugs or alcohol. I mean,
he's on a health kick.
Who's to presume? But yeah, I haven't seen him again. So he might have stopped that job.
You might put in a bad place.
Yeah, so that's that.
Well, we've got a sort of an Orion's belt now of local supermarkets that are like the express supermarkets. And do you think there's like a sort of, is there a crushing of the human spirit when you only can go to small supermarkets? A slight squeezing?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Do you know what I mean? Because we've got the Tesco's, we've got the Sainsbury's, and we've got the Co-op. And they're always just like when you're in a rush for things. But I only ever shop at those, really.
Yeah.
So that means that your selection is you're always having your hands tied behind your back.
I think they cover most of the basic needs
I
nowadays.
guess in Soviet Russia you had like 4 things you could get.
That's true. What were they? Cabbage,
bread if you're lucky, and then a pair of trousers, a pair of trousers that everyone wore, same size.
That's 3, isn't it? Or you counted trousers as 2 because it's a pair. Two different styles of trousers.
There's a long trousers and small trousers.
So shorts.
No, small size trousers. Because this is the.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you know what? I rescind what I said because I disagree with it. You know, I need to practice gratefulness because even though I roll my eyes at the high prices and the lack of choice at some of these things, you know,
do you really want to be going down a big supermarket? The one in Whitechapel's a fucking nightmare.
It's tough, isn't it?
It's too big.
It depresses
much space kill the supermarket.
But do you think maybe in the way that you have like art gallery curators who are kind of experts in their field and they have a way of laying out a room, so there'd be more expert curation in what are the prime goods at like an Express?
The prime goods?
Yeah.
What do you mean? The products or the layout?
Yeah, the products. So
I think they're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
It's very, and look, I do some world cooking. I've got some chilies in my cabinet.
Yeah.
But I'm most of the time, unless I'm doing like a proper Asian meal, you're getting most of the stuff from the supermarket, from the little ones for me. Have you ever had any problems? Have you gone in and gone?
Admittedly,
what did you need?
I don't cook big meals very often at all, and it's normally just quickly grabbing stuff.
Slop, don't you?
Sort of. I do think the quality is like I often end up with meat and bread in my hands. And I'm like, I thought there's surely some other options. How have I always end up with meat and bread and cheese?
I think you should do what I've started doing, is getting a whole raw chicken, put it in the oven, and then you've got food and lunch. It'll be good for you. You'd like that.
I would like that.
And it's really easy to cook. It's just you just whack it in the
Do you stick a lemon up his arse?
Fuck yeah. Stick anything you want up there, mate. Not your knob, Charlie. Charlie. You see your knob, poke it out. Yeah, a bit of lemon, a couple of cloves of garlic, 5 cloves of garlic. Thyme?
Yeah.
Christ. Dab the skin with some olive oil, salt it, and you're fucking laughing. I also had my first porridge the other day.
Did you?
It was quite.
Did Adam get you on it?
No.
I imagine Adam eats porridge.
Yeah, big time. Big porridge guy.
There's a lot of geezers like that. A lot of people who eat porridge every day. It kind of rarely surprises me.
Yeah. They've got porridge face. That guy, Adam, although a very, very good looking man, has got porridge face.
Adam Flood loves porridge.
Porridge face. He's got porridge face. Whereas Charlie likes porridge occasionally. He'll have one maybe 5 times a month.
I like instant porridge. I don't like making.
Do you
my
chop
own
up
oats.
banana into it?
I do, yeah, and I have Weetabix. I could only make I make pasta and curry.
Those two aren't really
And
interchangeable.
eggs. Pasta, curry, and eggs is pretty much all I can do.
Wait,
Really?
cooking wise?
You don't cook much.
No,
you might
I
have a
don't
bit
think.
of a
I feel that
kitchen
well, at uni I would just have 2 meal deals like every night rather than
That's horrible. That's like, even for uni.
That's disgraceful.
I mean, I just had pasto, pesto, and pizza really for the first year.
Oven pizzas.
That was first
Just
year.
a sausage pasta.
Yeah, that's true. First year.
Yeah.
That's about as much as we got. But meal deals for dinner, that is horrendous.
2.
Two
So
packets
2
of
Scotch
crisps.
eggs, 2 packets of crisps,
And what 2 liquids did you get?
Lucozade or juice.
Are you in the trenches? Are you? This is literally.
It
This
was
is World War
it was
I.
a time
This is
saving.
rations.
It was a time saving device.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, you got
But
other
it's
shit
not.
to do.
But I don't
Charlie.
think I blame my parents. I don't think they because I've got 3 younger brothers and I feel like we were all equally inept at cooking. I've learned a bit now. I can do curry and pasta.
Are your parents good at cooking?
No, my mum just made slop. It's like she had 4 little pigs, and therefore
Blended
I
up
think
meal
really?
deals.
the love she had for
thought-
cooking. And my dad would just make little faces and shapes in the like. No one. It was never like a kind of.
Your dad would make faces and shapes.
It's always making sense for a bit, and then just veers wildly off.
Like make smileys and little
in the slop.
Why?
out of the potatoes just for fun because he didn't.
He didn't
have-
like the food.
You start with the potato bit before you say you make it because potato smileys that makes sense.
No, but he would make.
No,
it,
he would make his own.
He would create his own thing.
Well, that's Charlie Corner. Wait, so because he didn't like the food?
Because he just was bored of cooking. And my mum,
But cooking, and he would. What does the smileys have to do with the cooking?
Because he doesn't have any passion for the actual dish, so he just tries to make it more fun.
In the presentation.
Yeah, it's all in the presentation.
I thought he was eating it and making
no.
volcanoes.
But not presentation like a restaurant style presentation.
No,
like
just
finish.
entertain the boys.
Yeah.
It's novelty presentation
To disguise
of
the shitness of the food.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Smiley slop is what you
the
have.
meal deals for dinner make more sense now. No, I have no excuse. My mum and sister very into cooking, very into food, and I just decided I was above it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now I'm getting punished for it.
F it up the chutney, mate. That's what I say. Do you want to do old dry Keith?
Yeah, let's talk about old dry Keith. This seems very linked to what we've already been talking about. But yeah, so I sent this to Andrew because I saw it on TikTok, and it really it's kind of like a ChatGPT auto-generated
Topic
Boys
for
Gone
us.
Wild
It is.
story.
It is. It's quite astonishing. Should we read out what it is?
Yeah.
Who this gentleman is? You scroll down a bit, Charlie, please. A British man who became an unlikely... So he died.
Yeah.
It's a shame we didn't get onto him before the death.
Yeah.
Known and adored as Old Dry Keith on the Chinese version of TikTok, middle-aged Keith Brown went viral for assembling his ordinary ham and tomato sandwiches and scrambled eggs on toast. The seemingly mundane classic British meals were met with horror and curiosity from the millions of viewers they attracted, and even began an online movement which saw Chinese nationals trying their own dry lunch.
Yeah, keep going down.
One commenter asked, "Is this real?" After watching Keith smear some butter onto brown bread. However, following the initial wave of confusion, Keith became known as a parental uncle figure among
Paternal,
fans. Paternal. Sorry. His account, ran by his Chinese wife Jane Zhang Juin, reached over 1 million followers on that platform. Where there's a bit more. A bit further down, Charlie, sorry. An article written on Chinese social media platform 36KR said, after watching a short video, viewers have changed from questioning the dry old man, understanding the dry old man, to becoming a dry old man. The old man is us, and the dry lunch is our dry life. There's even, and this is just from my own research, it might be further down. Oh, there it is. At the height of the trend, Chinese supermarkets even began providing dry shopping areas. In which shoppers can purchase all the essentials for a Keith-style meal, including bread and baguettes. However, earlier this month, Keith died. That's basically it. How did he die? He's old.
So I absolutely love that story because it's all Keith's eating is what we eat for lunch, right?
Yeah.
So it's basically just what all of us eat.
He died from bone cancer, probably due to the lack of nutrients in his lunch, sadly.
We don't need to know what old dry Keith died of.
Yeah.
We need to keep the myth alive.
Yeah.
What I found really funny about that is the horror in which Chinese people looked at just what most people eat. And also what I just talked about, what I was getting from supermarkets is just old dry Keith.
It's old dry Keith.
It's meat, bread and cheese and tomatoes.
Old dry Keith.
We're all old dry Keith.
Yeah. I'm having prawns for lunch now, so you can both go fuck yourself.
You're
prawn and avocado.
You're old wet Drew.
Old wet Drew. Young wet Drew. Yeah, I had a southern fried chicken wrap today. Homemade.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway.
What made it southern? Was it Cajun?
Me. Yarr! That's a pirate. Go on.
What I found really funny about the old Dry Keith story is that the way that they didn't relate to the food, but they related to the sort of spiritual stoicism of having a shit lunch. They're
Absolutely.
like, all right, that looks horrendous. I don't know anyone in their right mind who'd eat that. But the reason why this connects with our culture and why culturally we can, I don't know, connect with this is because we understand stoicism. We understand the idea of, putting your own happiness last.
True. It was It was one of my big points on this podcast that everyone who lives in England should mandatorily have to have a ham and cheese sandwich for lunch and nothing else.
It's true. Old Dry Keith.
Old Dry Keith.
You were saying we should force people to be old.
He's gone out there and done it though. We've just talked about it. This guy's assembling ham and tomato sandwiches on the internet.
The horror.
I mean, relax a bit, guys.
Surely you've seen bread and butter before.
Yeah, what? Smearing butter on brown bread. What's fucking wrong with that? But yeah, I guess it's it's just bland for them, isn't it, really?
Yeah. You're gone.
What do you think Keith's thinking is in terms of him blowing up? Does he think that they...
Keith's dead, Charlie. He's not thinking anything, mate.
He died of bone cancer.
But do you feel that he got the kind of... Do you think he found it funny, or do you think he was actually spreading good food?
Can we get a video up of Old Dry Keith? And I think that would help
Old
us.
Dry Keith, he must have known how big it's... I guess it starts with like all these things. He's a not self-aware man at all, and then he becomes huge, and he's like, well, I might as well keep doing it.
So he's doing it in Mandarin.
Right. So he firstly slices the bread. The horror.
Oh my goodness. So I reckon his wife has been like, these lunches are insane. I'm going to video them and put them on TikTok.
What do you make your lunch?
I make my lunch.
He's mocking her.
Okay, that feels.
Well, this feels like old Dry Keith's a bit of a racist. You can't be doing that, Keith.
I mean, he's in China.
His wife's Chinese.
Yeah, so I bet he's not racist.
Yeah, you'd hope not. So he's literally...
I mean, they're all mocking his lunch, so I think he's allowed to mock the way they talk.
Yeah, it's tit for tat.
Right.
That looks like quite good quality ham.
Yeah,
Keith's
that's
got,
nice.
to be
It's
honest.
lovely. I've had this lunch many times.
Yeah, I think the butter's the horrible bit. It looks like that, like margarine as well, you know.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
that will do.
Yeah.
I think what really happened at the on the set of Old Dry Keith was that his wife was mocking him.
Yeah.
And then posted it on, and then the Chinese then laughed, and then they realised, hold on, Old Dry Keith's onto something.
Yeah.
Now they're in Old Dry Nation.
No, but they think he's onto something for not the reasons Old Dry Keith thinks he's onto something.
Yeah.
Like, we don't eat ham and cheese like sandwiches out of stoicism.
Yeah.
We're just like, that's
'cause
pretty nice,
it's
easy.
delicious.
You know, it's like a nice, easy lunch, pretty simple. I guess at most unpretentious.
Yeah.
They find it inspiring from the seeming discipline of it.
Yeah, I
sort
suppose
of
so.
the discipline of like suppressing your desires, the lack of hedonism,
The lack of enjoyment in anything.
you know, it's like a Buddhist monk who, you know, meditates 12 hours a day, who gives off all earthly desires, refuses to bed a woman, you know, that sort of stoicism.
You're not overthinking this either.
No, but that's what the old dry man is one of us. That's what the commentator says. That's why they connect with it. And that's what I find so funny. The idea of just eating what we normally eat is seen as
horrifying and
profoundly stoic.
But his stoic acceptance of mediocrity. That is exactly what having a ham and cheese sandwich for lunch literally is. A stoic acceptance of mediocrity. And everyone should have to have it. It should be, what was it? It should be in the test you have for when you want to come to the country.
What, if you can eat one or make one?
You have to be able to make and eat it.
I think we could tell if people have made one before as well when they make a ham and cheese sandwich.
Ham and cheese face.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's a certain cut. Triangle or halves.
Triangle.
Yeah, me
but
too.
I had to learn the way.
I had an argument with someone about this.
I didn't start as a triangle person.
Me too.
I was taught straight on.
But in my mind, Keith's not cutting them in a triangle. That is going beyond the stoic nature of him. Triangle's far too much fun.
Do you think it's one big?
The guy's got to cut. That's too much fun as well. A half is stoic acceptance of mediocrity.
Yeah.
Bringing triangles into it, having too much fun. There's not enough crust in every bite.
Yeah.
There needs to be crust in every bite.
Okay. Yeah.
That's kind of it. So, Jake Paul.
Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson.
The bouts of the century.
Well, we talked about this when it was announced
Did
maybe
we?
a year and a half ago. It was ages ago.
We did. We probably did predictions.
Yeah, and I actually was quite excited about it because I wanted it once it was announced. How long it's taken has made it quite boring.
Yeah.
And our predictions were whoever won would make sense. That was what we said at the time.
Adds
If Mike
up.
Tyson's beat Jake Paul,
Adds up.
he's Mike Tyson.
Adds
if
up.
Jake Paul beat Mike Tyson,
He's
he's
old.
60 years old.
It adds
so
up.
whoever won was never going to be a shock. And that's sort of
Yeah.
the problem with this.
Yeah.
Is by winning, you make it not a shock. almost.
Exactly. It's 100% true. You've gained no information.
But I think with the lead up to the fight, actually, if Mike Tyson had won, it would have been a huge shock.
How old is he?
60.
Yeah, it's fucking
And it's just
ridiculous.
against a fully, like, a guy who's like 28 or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
30 at
Did
his
you
peak.
watch it?
I didn't watch it, but I heard people who know about stuff talking about it.
Yeah.
And they were just like, boo, rubbish, boo.
Boo. Boo the men. Who would you box?
Well, are the two of them?
Yeah.
Well,
no, who would you box? Choose someone else. If you had to do a celebrity boxing match.
Wait,
Anne
so
Widdecombe.
what would generate the most spectacle?
Yeah. Anne Widdecombe.
I think you beating up an old woman, I don't know if that might stop, the spectacle might quickly
Yeah.
be like, I wish
Hey.
they weren't doing this?
Just my first idea.
Yeah.
Charlie?
Greg James. Greg James.
Do you,
Yeah.
do you not like Greg James?
I don't like Greg James
Fascinating.
we-
Why?
because he presented a
Here we
shell.
go.
Did you see the
It's
shell?
one of his weird annoyances
Yeah,
that he
yeah,
has.
Do you remember the shell?
Is he an average father?
It's no, I don't know if he's got any children, but he presented this show with Shell where it was like for a sustainable car program,
Oh.
and it was sponsored by Shell. So I think Greg
Right.
James is a sellout, and he needs to get punched in the mouth.
How long ago was that?
2 years.
Weird that you've held on to that for that
Oh,
long.
don't forget.
Have you got any other enemies?
No, it's mainly Greg James and Al Pacino.
I'd like to see how I'd do against Putin.
And that ref.
Because Putin's obviously very fit. He's a ruthless killer, but he's 5'7" and he's old.
Yeah.
So
Probably have him.
do you think?
Well, if you dance around enough and then
Surely my stamina will
tire
beat
him
him.
out. Yeah,
'cause
your
he's-
stamina will beat him. Your
So
stamina.
I would actually box Putin and my reach as well.
Yeah.
Because knocking out Putin, that's quite
Pretty nice. We're all going to bloody die, aren't we? Have you seen that? We're all
Yeah.
dying. We're all going to die.
Well, because of nuclear war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of nuclear warfare.
Rubbish. Okay.
All right, that's a bit of fun.
Oh, he's judo, but he's not allowed to do that in boxing.
That is, he looks ridiculous.
He he does like martial arts.
God, imagine being the guy having to like fight Putin. and
But
that.
I've never boxed before, but I'm allowed to train before the fight.
You're allowed to train.
Yeah. I'd take Putin. Yeah, so the Jake Paul White Tyson fight was absolutely boring, rubbish, apparently. And I guess I saw that in the same week. It was the same weekend as I watched Gladiator 2, and I did feel quite bummed out actually.
Because of all the
It just felt like it was
Letdowns.
just like culturally, it did feel like quite like this is all a bit rubbish at the moment.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't much care for Gladiator 2.
Yeah, I thought Gladiator 2 was absolute rubbish.
I didn't think it was absolute dog on the floor.
I thought it was
Pig shite.
absolutely rubbish.
I thought it was pretty average.
Well, the main thing is I didn't care at all about any of the characters.
That's definitely true.
I think it seemed very cynical. Even though a lot of people have been slagging off Ridley Scott for his lack of historical accuracy. But
Diddly squat.
yeah, you should have called his production company.
No one's
that.
ever fucking said that.
Someone said that to me yesterday.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did.
No, they didn't.
Was yesterday Tuesday? Yeah,
Who?
they did. Someone, Tom Basden.
Never heard of him. Go on.
So this is going to involve spoilers, but you can't really spoil this film, to be honest, apart from the fact that it's rubbish.
That's the headline. Cutting review.
I went in, I knew it was going to be bad, or like not that great, but I thought I'd at least have a good time.
Yeah.
I didn't really have a good time.
I didn't have that good a time. I even bought a large Coca-Cola for this one.
Yeah, because you're like swords and sandals. And I spent quite a lot of money on the ticket because I saw it on like a Saturday.
Really?
Like $12.50.
Go to the View in Stratford.
Oh yeah,
£4.50.
That's not bad.
I'm
at
spending
all.
on cinema. I'm
That's
there
not-
every fucking week.
That's not bad at all.
Wanking. Go on.
Come on, yeah. Shoot.
Yeah, no, it was kind of almost exactly the same story as the first one. I realized kind of a bit throughout,
Sort of, but
with like added elements.
I watched the first one before watching this one just to remind myself of what the story. And the first one, what they do so well is they make you care about the characters and the stakes.
And the Colosseum.
It's a very sincere film, but they managed to land it because it's just all the elements are done so well.
Yeah.
Like you really feel, what's his name, Maximus Decimus
Aurelius.
Caecilius.
No, Marcus Aurelius is the emperor.
Meridius.
Maximus Meridius, Decimus Meridius, which is very confusing that the emperor and him have very similar names.
Oh, that got me.
You think that he cares about his wife and children a lot, even though you don't see him with them at all. You're
Who?
like, that's his
Paul?
Paul
Mescal.
Russell Crowe in
Russell
the first
Crowe.
one.
Yeah, he does. Well, there's the flashbacks.
There's flashbacks, but it's just more like they just do little tender moments really
Yeah.
well. He kisses the little figurines of them. He's
Yeah.
clearly that's all he cares about, and you care about that. At the beginning, the Paul Mescal one, his mixed race wife is doing the laundry, right?
Yeah. Wow.
And he kisses her.
Progressive, eh?
And he kisses her, and
Yeah.
it's like, all right, that's as much as we get.
That's
okay?
his- yeah.
He kisses her, and they're doing laundry together. Okay, and then the war happens. The Romans come.
Yeah.
She's also a fighter, of
course.
and she dies.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, it's rub. He doesn't like that at all.
It's not good.
Never thinks about her again. And it's just like they just
Does.
chucked it in.
There were flashbacks.
Is there?
Yeah. There's the kind of in between worlds bit where she's like waiting for him. That they go back to that quite a few times, and
but
they,
it's not a driving force for his character really at all.
It is at the start, and then they just kind of ignore
Yeah,
it.
just completely ignore it.
Yeah, it's his call to action, and then his action greatly changes.
Yeah, and then Paul Mescal. I guess we all want to support him. No one hates Paul Mescal,
No.
but it was just kind of like his character was probably maybe the most boring out of all of them.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he was
yeah.
just a brute, right?
Just a big old. He was like a cow.
Just a thug.
He was just a cow. I didn't care. My big thing was because I actually think the first Gladiator is a bit overrated.
Okay.
But I enjoy the Colosseum bits. That's when
Yeah.
it gets stanky. And there's like a great lead up to all of the Colosseum bits. This time, I couldn't give two fucks about the Colosseum. But why are you bringing the Navy into this?
Yeah.
They're going around in boats fighting. No one cares about naval warfare. There's a reason there aren't loads of films about naval warfare. I know there's some. But it's just because it's like, it's boring to watch boats shoot.
That makes sense. If you're trying to level up the Gladiator, they actually did feel the
Did you enjoy it when the boats were just circling each other and there was just like...
I didn't enjoy
archery?
any of it, so it's irrelevant.
But that's not irrelevant. You didn't enjoy it.
That bit didn't stand out to me as especially boring.
No, I'm just comparing it to like the Colosseum stuff in the first one. That's like, let's get it. Like that, this was nuts that this happened.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, what? That didn't happen.
But it's
you
also-
can't put sharks in there when there weren't sharks in there, by the way.
The amount of CGI, it is just crazy how films are looking worse than they did, and they must cost similar amounts of money. I don't understand what's going on. Like the first Gladiator looked better because even though it was less ambitious, it was practical effects.
They did have, I think they did stack up, like, I don't know how did they do the Colosseum bit? But I remember Paul Mescal was talking about like walking out into the Colosseum and it was quite intimidating because the amount of people there.
Yeah, but then they had
monkey-
him fighting CGI apes that looked ridiculous.
The monkeys is the
CGI
only...
apes Gladiator 2.
This is the only time that we disagree because
Yeah.
I enjoyed the monkeys.
Yeah.
The monkeys brought a lot for it. I was quite happy that those monkeys could have never existed.
But they were like alien monkeys.
They were alien monkeys and I liked them. No monkey looks like that.
Yeah,
That's just ridiculous.
yeah. CGI, I think you're on the wrong film.
Yeah, it's Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
And then there was one moment where he's wrestling with the monkey, and I just like because it was so clear CGI.
Yeah.
It just was him rolling all around on the floor with a guy in a
Fancy
green morph
circus.
suit, so
Yeah,
you could
yeah,
just
yeah.
clearly tell. And then Denzel Washington, who I thought was going to annoy me in the trailer because I just thought, I don't know, a black Roman with really good teeth. I was like, this is going to take me out.
Yeah.
But because he's such a good actor and so much better than everyone else, he actually looked like he belonged there more than anyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, the teeth did annoy me. They were just white teeth.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what. I think it would just you'd feel more there if they just had everyone having like rotten teeth. A little
It's
bit.
true. Some had rotten teeth, but
Yeah.
not all.
The emperors were weird. Like they were made up emperors, but the Marcus Aurelius before them was a real bloke.
That's the thing
Yeah.
I don't understand. Ridley Scott really doesn't care about
Yeah.
doing any kind of legitimate history.
But I like him in his interviews. I do kind of.
It's a bit of fun.
I do rate his fury when anyone questions any of his.
Yeah, it's like it's a film. Grow up, you pansy.
Well, it's not a film. Grow up. It's you weren't there.
Yeah. So
That's
how do
his
you know?
take.
Yeah, they could have been.
It's literally his take on all these things.
Well, because when he's talking about the sharks, because an interviewer goes, yeah, so how did you come up with that? Because obviously they didn't have sharks in there. He was like, what?
What?
What? He was like, well, they're that close to the sea. You're telling me they couldn't just grab a shark in a net and bring it to the
Ridiculous.
Colosseum? Yeah,
Ridiculous.
get this guy out.
You weren't there. When he was questioned whether Napoleon fired a cannon at the pyramids,
Yeah.
he was like, well, were you there?
Yeah, were you there? I suppose not.
See, I like Ridley Scott. He's 86 years old, and I think there's something quite funny about the fact that, I guess he's got such a respectable career that he's got this sort of Joe Biden-esque allowance to have a lot of power.
Yeah.
And he's kind of dotteringly making these kind of quite weird box office hits.
Ruining his legacy.
But he's just still doing it. And like, because of he's got such a legacy, they're kind of self-produced in some ways, or at least a production company. He's just allowed to sort of like make these mad old...
Yeah. Just do what you want with it, mate. Why the fuck not? Yeah. Disappointing would be the headline for me.
Yeah.
Are there any themes of kind of incest or any kind of complicated themes at all, or is it just sharks and
Well, what
carnage?
happens, which really pissed me off, is this is a spoiler, but so if you really don't want it spoiled, skip 5 minutes. Basically, Paul Mescal, they crowbar in that Paul Mescal is Russell Crowe's son, right? And because the boy of the Joaquin Phoenix's sister, who you see in the Colosseum in the first one, he grows up to be Paul Mescal, and they imply that he's actually Russell Crowe's son. Which implies that Russell Crowe cheated on his wife.
Yeah,
and it was like the whole point of the first one is he's completely
how much he loves
dedicated.
his wife.
And they're like, well, how are we going to make this work? And just put
just
two,
do
bang,
that.
bang.
Yeah.
Just completely cut the legs
It was
out.
crowbarred in, and it wasn't revealed very well. I didn't understand some of it, to be honest. I got confused between Maximus and Marcus.
And
I'll hold my hands up.
And the amount of scenes after we've had a big Colosseum, piss up, and then it's by candlelight.
Yeah.
Someone in a
Plotting.
hood.
A lot of
Someone in a
plotting.
cloak arriving in the gladiator cell.
Yeah.
And it just that happened about 6 times.
It did. I did zone
And
out.
it ceases to be mysterious. The kind of the Roman cell, the candlelight, the torches, and then someone in a cloak arriving and them taking their cloak down. If you've done that 6 times and 4 of them times they've been the same person,
It's true.
it ceases to have that wow factor.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder what they're plotting. We know exactly what they're plotting.
And one of the times, it's the mum coming and saying, "I'm your mum," and Paul Musco says, "You're a cunt. I hate you. Fuck off." And then she comes back like 15 minutes later
in the
and he's like, "Oh, I love you, mum."
Yeah, that bit's the worst bit for me. I'm like, you've literally not even spoken to her, and now everything's fine. Bit sloppy, I'd say. What's happening with all these lookalike competitions?
Go on.
What's going on with them?
Yeah.
There's suddenly it's now a thing where you've got flocks of people who look moderately like Harry Styles, Jeremy Allen White, Timothy Chalamet. There's a Paul Mescal one. What's going on? Why can we stop it? I think it's fucking stupid.
I think they've been around for a while, much more than you think.
But
like Truman
not
Capote
like this.
Came second in his own lookalike contest.
That's fun. The judges just awful that year.
So I do think it's been like a part of celebrity culture for a bit.
I know.
But now it's on the
lookalike contests have always been a thing. There's a big flocking of people who look like tits. I'm not going to remember it. Someone.
Okay,
somewhere.
well, I do agree, but it's quite funny seeing 3 people sort of look like someone.
Okay, the guy who won, yes. The other 2, nowhere near. Absolute dog shit. What annoys me actually is that they've taken out the sanctity of the lookalike competitions because previously there was rules. There were regulations. I'm sure there was some pre-vetting of these people.
You find some more lookalike contests.
Now it's like anyone who's got a phone and has got brown hair is going to go to Central Park on a Sunday to say I look like Jeremy Allen White. You don't, pal. Go back inside.
So you want them to stop doing
I want them to stop doing it. Fuck off. It's boring. You annoy me. And then everyone's like, ah! Do you know what I mean? Everyone's like, ah! He looks like him. No, he doesn't. Fuck off. Stop doing it. It's really annoying. Because someone commented like,
but if you get caught, if you're walking through London and you take a shortcut through Hyde Park,
and there's 1,000 Jeremy Allen Whites, look, but there isn't. Yeah, obviously that would be the best.
It's quite a funny thing to be caught up in.
That would be absolutely amazing. It would, but they don't look like him. They don't look enough like him.
So if they looked a lot like him,
yeah.
Then
if it was good, you know what? I'd love to go to a regulated lookalike competition.
You'd be good at a Zach Braff lookalike.
Zach Braff?
Yeah.
Well, the Danish Prime Minister.
No, the Latvian Prime Minister.
Type in Latvian Prime Minister, please, Charlie.
Yeah.
I swear it's Danish.
Oh, maybe it's Danish.
I think it's Danish Prime Minister. Yeah, not her. She's far too glowing.
God, she's very attractive.
Yeah, there I am.
Oh yeah. Well, when she used to have black hair, she's dyed it blonde to stop being called you by accident.
It is good, isn't it?
It's the eyes.
It's the eyes. She's got the curl and droop.
And the mouth.
The mouth?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of me looks like it. Eyebrows, I think.
And the periods once a month. You know what I mean?
I do bleed. Yeah, if it was good, if it was regulated by some sort of lookalike body, then fine.
Is this Harry Styles? Yeah.
These are the best.
Let me see the winner of Harry Styles.
What makes the Harry Styles lookalike contest a bit
fucking
better
whimsical
is that Harry Styles has so many different outfits you can choose. So that's
true.
a bit fun.
Eras.
Jeremy Allen White, they were all wearing the chef
wearing
one.
the chef
So it's
one.
like, well, he hasn't had a long enough career to warrant or a varied enough one.
Yeah, it's true. But you know, there's gonna now everyone's just doing them. Now there's like a call. I think there's a call for the Paul Mescal one. I saw another one advertised. It's like, can we stop it? Why?
How big is the contest? Is there a street food van there to supply
Probably. I don't think
attendees?
Well, it's not regulated, so no. It won't
It's
be
not officiated.
It's not officiated.
It's just sort of it's milling about in the park, is it?
It's just all whimsical and
Would you want it more officiated?
Yes.
Like in like a
I
ballroom?
want a stage, and then them to come up one by one, and then do like a.
Yeah, he has to do.
They can't speak, but they have to do one action that's like them, and then there's judges at a different table, and there's folded chairs on the lawn.
Yeah, okay.
Not all this like let's meet up at Central Park and say that this person looks like someone.
Yeah,
it's Stop doing it. It's whimsical. Shut up.
The apparently with the same Zayn Malik lookalike contest, the fans apologized because there were some really bad entries.
Yeah, well,
so the fans apologized.
The fans apologized for the quality of the entries that were submitted.
It's obscene. It's obscene. And like the problem I'm also finding with it, how many is there going to be? There's so many celebrities in the world.
Yeah,
and there's people with too much time on their hands.
Yeah.
who find it fun. It's going to keep fucking going. I mean, it started. Why Zayn Malik? What's he got to do with anything?
Yeah. I guess we need to find, in the digital age, it's harder and harder to find community.
Then, I don't know, fucking...
What, not? You don't think the Zayn Malik lookalike community?
No, if you shouldn't find any friends there. You should avoid them. Avoid it all.
Can we talk? Andrew sent me a news article that really made me laugh about remember the Glasgow Willy Wonka experience? That was like the Fire Festival. Have you seen this, Charlie?
So for people that don't remember, I think it was in Scotland.
Yeah.
There was a Willy Wonka experience for children that was less than promised for. It was
like for the Fire Festival.
It was like the Fire
even
Festival.
British and depressing.
Absolutely. So yeah, awful. Kids went there. Parents complained. There's loads of videos.
It was
of
rubbish.
It was absolutely awful. So now it turns out the guy doubling down on his efforts to be an enemy of the world is now a registered sex offender.
Yeah.
It adds up.
It adds up the kind of person who'd do that would be a pedo. But I guess...
Is he a pedo? No.
Yeah.
No, not a pedo. Scroll down. Let's not. No, the man behind, after leaving a woman traumatized by harassing her.
Oh,
so he's
okay.
a harasser. He's not a pedo.
Oh, okay. Right.
One of the texts stated that Cool, which is the man, was a wolf. Oh no, which is the woman, was a wolf, and that she was his prey.
Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, he doesn't. It was he's just he's been doing some dodgy shit. So he's gone straight from He's gone straight from the Willy Wonka experience to harassing a woman. Maybe you think take a break from being a dickhead.
Yeah, well, but his argument, which is what I liked about this story, is actually how badly I've been treated has forced me to harass women.
Yes, is that what he said?
Yeah, that was
shit.
it. That was the whole point.
Oh, yeah.
That's what made it so funny to me, is that he was like, I've never done anything like this before, and then suddenly I made the worst Willy Wonka experience of all time, and now I'm
a pedo. Oh,
but I like how he was shifting the blame onto people who have slagged them off.
Well, if you guys weren't so mean about the Willy Wonka experience, maybe this lady wouldn't have been harassed. I mean, look, again, it was much like the Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight. It wasn't surprising.
Yeah.
Nothing surprising about it.
No.
I was fully, we could have called it. If we thought about it enough, I'd be like, what's he going to do next? Harass a woman.
And also, it's an icon keeping his legend alive.
Correct.
Like the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight.
Such, yeah. I mean, to be honest, we didn't know the guy behind its name, did we?
And now we do.
Now we do. Now we're talking about him.
That's
He thought I've been out the news for a bit too long. I'll send some inappropriate texts to ladies. Good for him. I'm a Celebrity's Back. Will you be watching it this year?
I've watched half of an episode.
Yeah. How are you finding it?
Fine. I mean, I'm struggling to watch anything, and so the fact that
Do you need your glasses changed?
The fact that it's once a week and it's every night and it's on does mean that it's just less pressure watching it.
Yeah, you just knock it on, don't
Yeah.
you? You knock it on the box. It's nice having something on the box.
Yeah.
Adam, in the creep that he is,
Yeah.
he gets a weekly Radio Time subscription.
Oh, that's so poncy.
You've seen it, and
It's
I
a
think
ponce nonce.
it's a ponce move. So he gets the weekly Radio Times,
Yeah.
and then whenever it arrives, he'll sit down, probably with a coffee and a jam donut, and then go through all the things that are on live TV, and he circles them with a real life pencil, in order so that he can watch it. And so his argument is interesting.
Go on.
There is something about watching live TV with the nation.
Yeah.
There's like a community kind of feel to it. But I think there's something that we've lost with streaming.
100%.
So everyone's watching different shit at different times and all that. Whereas Adam is watching The Great British Bake Off at that exact time, or he's watching Homes Under the Hammer with millions of other, probably not millions, quite a few other people at that same time. And it makes you feel part of something. It's a bit like when you're watching live sport, live sport on the weekend, great. Or well, whenever really, not just the weekend. What was I saying? It's great because it doesn't. The live aspect of it, like, I'm watching an event. It does, when you get into like a streaming hole, that's sad.
Your favourite song comes on the radio. You can't believe your luck.
can't
You're singing along.
believe it.
You're banging the doors.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
And
you're
if
screaming.
Nadia from Bake Off has got a cooking show on at 8, that's what Adam feels like.
But if you pick your favourite song on Spotify, you could do that.
You could do
at
that
any moment.
any moment.
So it
But
does
there's a
give you a
community
thrill.
thing as well. Do you feel that?
100%. I completely agree.
So maybe he's onto something.
Well, there's something wrong with streaming, which is it's choice paralysis.
Yeah.
At any moment, I'm constantly having anxiety. I could be watching something better.
Something better.
Because you always can.
Every time, yeah. And that's what kind of good TV ruins that. Because then when you do watch one that's great and then it ends, you're back in the same. You always end up back in the same place. That's the bleakest thing about watching shows.
When it's like a selection of channels and the nanny state is picking what's going to go in my brain,
then it's like, you know what? This is the
fair
best
enough.
we have.
Hey, look, and then I can complain about, it's rubbish on the box.
Absolutely.
As opposed to me being an idiot who can't find good shit.
Because it's your fault if you don't find good shit straight.
I haven't started The Wire, and at any moment I could start The Wire.
I haven't started Sopranos.
At any moment you could. So anytime you're watching something, what, you think that's better than Sopranos?
And it's often
who
not.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah, who do you think you are? That's exactly what I feel like. But then if you're watching Tipping Point at 5 p.m. on BBC, there's no such concern.
Because it's not implied that Tipping Point is better than Sopranos.
It's not. It's just on the box.
Yeah.
It's on the box.
But if you went and got like BritBox, I imagine Tipping Point's on. How would you on demand watch Tipping Point?
If anyone watches Tipping Point on demand, unsubscribe from the podcast.
Well, that you are implying it's better.
Welcome here. I despise Tipping Point. I think no one should watch it live. This isn't my first rant on Tipping Point. If you're watching it on demand, kill yourself. Fucking die. You're not allowed here. I don't want you on the podcast. Tipping Point is abhorrent. What's the worst game in the arcade? When you put the pennies in and let's make a game show out of it that runs every single day for an hour. Exclusively, you get vulnerable pensioners on there.
It's like a phone scam.
It's a phone scam. It's a phone scam. And people are being scammed into thinking it's any kind of good TV. I don't care how old you are.
So it's preying on the vulnerable.
It's preying on the vulnerable in every way. Who are we going to get to host it? Ben Shepherd, of course. Who else would host it? Yeah. He's like butter.
Hunky Ben.
He's there. Yeah. And he's lathered on Tipping Point.
I think he should do exercise videos, Ben Shepherd.
He's a hunky boy.
Yeah, I'd get him off TV and I'd get him to do his own little videos.
Not long.
What?
Give it a year.
Do you know? Wouldn't you like to see a Ben Shepherd 20-minute exergeneric video?
Nah.
Where he points at each muscle.
I wouldn't really want to see any.
You know those ones where they don't speak over it. There's like bad like generic house music playing, and then they point at the muscle that they're exercising and they do the exercise.
No, I haven't.
I want to see Ben do that. Going,
and then. Why?
I don't know. I like his physique.
Yeah, I think he's quite a middle-aged woman. You know, I'll have a slice of that cake.
Exactly, and I would say I'm having what he's having.
Yeah, okay.
That's kind of my relationship with Ben. I don't care what he says.
You care what he eats and how he works out. All right, so he should be more of a fitness influencer than he should be a host of things. Yeah, look, he looks like a lovely man at the end of the day. In honesty, he just is that fucking show, man. I've got into Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It's just excellent television. Really? Get it on the box. Yeah. If you're looking for something to do, get it on the box.
When's it on?
Well, you can on demand that.
You on demand that?
I'm on demanding Who Wants to Be a Millionaire nowadays. Adam and I are having some lovely
So you're demanding it. But isn't that just because of your new Clarkson phase?
It's not a phase. I have been watching quite a lot of Clarkson, accidentally. The Farm's great. Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Look, I'm a big quiz show guy. Quiz shows of an evening are fun. Again, you're watching something with the nation, kind of. But
it's on demand, so you're not watching with the nation.
But they've watched. I know. But it is, though. It is, isn't it? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? You know.
How on demand are you watching it? Are you going like series 1, episode 20? No, series 300 episodes.
You don't need to do it sequentially, which is one of the benefits of it. But no, I've done this season, and then we're going through some of them.
Okay.
I'd stick it on the box. That's all I'm asking for. Stick it on the box. See how you feel about it. It's a lot of fun. Look, it's the best quiz show out there.
It's true. I think Netflix need to find a way that they recreate the channel vibe. I think they could do that.
I just think it'd be pointless.
Well, they could put that on there.
Oh, that's what we got time for. See you on the Patreon.
So you enjoying that episode this year then?
I put it on during work. It's a great work watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. It needs to pick up a bit, you know.
You got any people who are standing out for you?
Well, as always, it's just the reason I kind of brought it up is because I just need to say it every year. Just Antideck, just the best.
Yeah.
Just absolute national treasures. The way they do it, it's just astonishing. It's liquid television. They deserve all the awards they get, and it's good to it's nice for two people to be at the top of their game and to really deserve it. There's a reason they're Antideck, because they're fucking Antideck. Yeah. They're just fantastic, and I just like to bring that up. I like to bring that up every year because I'm astonished every year.
So I do think Adam, as I've said, was onto something, because I also, when I was staying in a hotel on tour last year, there was like an old TV and I only had 4 channels, and one of a panel show came up, and it was like slightly bad resolution. I think it was QI actually,
Right.
and it was absolutely brilliant.
Did you have a
I was,
great- had a
I was
great time?
laughing my head off.
Because you're not expecting
Yeah,
laughter.
but if I'd searched that up and watched on demand and saw it in 4K and saw Stephen Fry's Blackheads because it was just too much,
Yeah,
it'd just
all
be
right.
too.
Leave
I
him
don't know.
alone.
It's
Fucking
just
hell.
it's all
He's
too
coming
much.
for Fry.
It's the kind of. I do think the TV you watch it on, that whole package is what makes it. Also, whenever I get a Chinese from my local Chinese just on this road here, it's like walking into 2006 because they haven't changed the decor from there. It's this quite tacky, almost dentist waiting room with a couple of like Chinese things around it, and there's a small TV up in the corner, and they always have comedy panel shows.
It's good shit.
While I'm waiting for 15 minutes, it's brilliant. I'm not on my phone. I'm living 2006 again.
Yeah, you look, I respect it.
Thank you.
I only have it with the breakfast news, like Good Morning Britain. I used to watch, and waking up to that in like a kind of hotel with a glass of orange juice.
Yeah. Waking
is
up
lovely.
to it.
Yeah. You stick it on immediately. You wake up and you immediately put the telly on.
Is it you a hotel for work?
Yeah. Or kind of whatever, really. But like if I'm ever in a mainly I'm in a hotel for work.
Yeah.
I don't know why else I'd be in one.
What's wrong with waking up to it?
I don't know if I was on holiday.
Yeah, true.
I guess that's what I was
I
saying.
see. Yeah, absolutely. That's a bit.
But if
what's
you're-
going on in Britain? Roger can never switch off, can he?
No.
That's
but,
I was going to try something there, but
My dad on holiday was once working when I was like 7. He was working so hard on emails. We were like, Daddy, do you want to come play in the pool? And he said, go away, I'm on the loo. But he didn't look up from his laptop.
was he on the loo?
No.
What?
Because he was so...
I hate all of that.
He was
story.
so driven. And I think he forgot that we could see him almost.
think-
he
or
was
he-
just
or he
so
forgot?
focused on not being on holiday with his children.
Yeah,
And he was so focused on work. And we're like, Daddy,
I'm on the loo.
And he said,
Or maybe
no,
he was
go away, I'm on the loo. He just sort of panicked and didn't really think about it.
Maybe he was so focused that he thought he was on the loo. Did you check? Did you check the sofa?
He wasn't on the loo, no. He wasn't at all.
Well, he might have.
Maybe. Maybe that's
he
what he was
thought
trying
it
to
was the
sort
loo.
out.
Maybe he
Maybe that's
thought
what
it
it was
was the loo.
furiously emailing.
Maybe that's just what loos look like in Spain.
Maybe. I don't think so, though, because I've been back since.
What? That's what he thinks loos look like.
Oh, I thought you said that's what loos look like.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that's a weird way to end the podcast, but life is like a ham sandwich, old and dry. But if we get on holiday enough, then we can bask in the sunlight and look like the better versions of ourselves eventually. Bye.
Goodbye. See you next week, guys.